welcome to today's session. This is your host, Hindu Pips. Welcome to today's Midnight Bags. We got some live trading and analysis. As a reminder, the session does not give any financial advice. We just hop on, mark up the charts, see any potential opportunities. Markets have been moving this week for sure, so we'll see if we have anything brewing up for us to position ourselves into. I do have a potential gold idea loading, but we'll see uh, what market does once we get to the price range. I'll cover the different scenarios in a bit, but as always, we're gonna cover what the news is looking like for the week. And if you guys have any specific pairs you want me to take a look at, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm more than happy to do that. I know we just had a GP CPI come out. So markets, I was looking at gold on my other screen right now. It's definitely had a pretty decent 1 minute drop candle, about almost 40 pips, 40, 50 pips. Um, this week, Thursday night, Thursday morning, it does have some volatility in it. But the main focus day, like I mentioned last week, is going to be next week, Wednesday. We've got FOMC interest rates coming out, so we'll have a lot of volatility then. So it'll be a good day to focus in on the market. But let's go ahead and get started. We'll see if we have any potential setups brewing, and we'll go from there. As always, we start out with gold. It's been on a rampage for sure. It missed my zone. I was waiting for this zone down here. I believe it was off of the 4 hour candle. No, it wasn't. Let me narrow it down. Which candle I had this off of? Yeah, I had this off of a 5 minute candle. Just keeping an eye on this. Unfortunately, it did not come low enough to get me in, so this was missed out, and that's okay. We're on a total rampage since then. The Asian Open did give us a nice little pullback. I was able to scalp a little bit before getting hit at like break even, and then it ran. As far as where gold is at right now, I can see a potential reaction at 47.75. If I can find some buy entries, I will look for that. Just because we basically made equal highs here. I want to see that get targeted. So potentially gold could give us a reaction out of this zone here. Uh, so seeing something like this happen here. Touch, clear out these equal highs, get into that quarter level 75. This zone, I'm going to be patient on selling only because we do have some more inefficient price action here. So for me, it's like unless I see an absolute reaction, then I'll attempt it. Otherwise, I really like these buy continuations within this area. It's a nice little 2 minute candle inside of here. So we'll see where how deep price wants to pull back for us to get in. But overall, I do like this general zone for gold to go higher, at least to clear out these equal highs. Moving on to silver. Unfortunately, silver. I'm still gonna keep an eye on this zone for silver as we get once we get back down here. But this did miss. We did make more liquidity right here, as you can see. Equal lows, relative lows. So I can see that being a target. Silver is in an interesting spot to potentially short. I just don't like the fact that we have all these like wicks here. I can see this getting taken out before we see another short. But market's in an interesting spot because we could just respect structure here and continue lower. Personally, I like gold more right now. So that is something I'm going to keep an eye on. Yeah, silver also has like equal highs right here, as you guys can see. So gold dropping a little bit more than silver right now, and that's okay. It is about to get into the zone, so we'll just wait for a reaction. We don't have to be super aggressive in terms of pulling the trigger. Patience is key in situations like this. Especially there's a lot of volume coming in for these shorts. So we'll see if this holds. Moving on, let's see what the dollar is looking like. Dollar is getting that rally up. That's why we're seeing gold drop a bit. Overall, from a larger perspective, dollar did play off our area that we've been speaking about for a while inside this daily candle here. So it is respecting that. I can see us rallying back up. We might potentially get one more pullback inside of here to take out this candle before we continue going higher. So if that is the case in terms of correlations, we see dollar pullback here, we might get that short-term gold push, and then when we see dollar push back up, we'll get that continued gold sells. Moving on to indices here. I am waiting for this 4-hour candle. I was just marking this up earlier um, to see if we have any potential opportunities. I did scalp a little bit of this inside here. I know it looks tricky, but it was off of a this 5-minute candle here. Ended up getting hit out, like it pulled back on me, hit me out, and then came to the target. This was definitely not easy price action to read today. The only easy thing to read was like this low getting taken out and this previous low as well. This was the one of the lows for New York session on Monday, so that got taken out, and then we had the reversal. So if you're someone that plays like areas of where previous session lows get taken out, this was an opportunity that you could have taken. Uh, I was at work, so I did not see this, but this is something we have covered as well. Uh, Speaking of trap candles, Nasdaq did give you a beautiful opportunity here inside this 5-minute candle towards the end of the session. I know the timing wasn't the best because this thing took off after 1 p.m. Would have been awesome if that happened before. But after that, this seemed pretty textbook to read in terms of you had liquidity built up here, equal highs. After market opens again, you just reposition in, which it opened around here. Find your entry, take out the equal highs, which it did, and then it's continuing back up. Now, as far as where this is at, obviously shorting it is something we're not going to force in this situation. I can see us coming up to 2700 first. Ideally, I would like to see this touched before we short down. The short targets are pretty obvious. Also, one other thing I want to explain to you guys, or show you that I was studying earlier today, that was a sign to take out these lows was this trendline liquidity. So, just something to back test if you cannot see it for your own eyes. So that you can see it for your own eyes. My apologies. Yeah, personally, I still want to see indices higher. I just don't like all this price action here. I'm not gonna short until it's like something super obvious. I might even look for like a break and retest off of a certain level, because we've got a key level here. We've created more liquidity, but at the same time, I'd rather wait for price to close below, but versus trying to force something inside of here. Let me take a quick look at gold again real quick. Oh, it didn't come down yet. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, it's all good. Continue on. Yeah, so me personally, I'm okay with sitting on my hands for indices. I do like this 4-hour zone to attempt inside of here, but we're gonna have to reevaluate once price gets there. So be cautious of that. Let's see if US 30 has anything more interesting. This area that we were looking for shorts, I believe last week, did give a move. Um, about a little over 300 points, 2 to 300 depending on where you got in. But even if you got like up here, you still got 100 points move. So did give you something. Yeah, obviously we would have won everything down here, but that did not happen. Let's reset the Dow. Yeah, Dow higher for sure. I mean, look at these equal highs we have here, followed by the imbalance, so it makes sense to get taken out. Now it's just a matter of where we're gonna get our entry because I don't think this is the cleanest area to play. The reason I'm saying that is because like we got more lows here. So like, when we're stuck in this range, I'd rather just be patient. There's no point in forcing anything inside this range until we get something more clear and direct for us to position ourselves into. Like this is just not the best price action. So I'm sitting on my hands with this because that's just luring in more people, and I rather been on that side where you've been lured in and you're caught in a chop, and it's just not worth risking your capital at that point. Like look, this is a good example. We got prices trapped in this range. Let price break out. We could get a potential like sweep down, and then we rally back up. Like you can play liquidity being taken out and then view positioning in, or you might get some potential shorts when this gets taken out. But personally, obviously, we want to go with the trend because it's more obvious. The buys would be better. Shorting would have to be super obvious. Yeah, I mean, you may get a scalp, but shorting at all-time highs doesn't make sense. So definitely on the buy side, but I drew these levels out to show you how price is trapped. Don't force anything. Just let it break out and let it show us its hand first. And obviously, we have volume to help us, so volume is definitely going to be key to see if there's truly buyers and sellers in the market who's like basically winning. S&P is done with that. Let's go to oil. Oil unfortunately missed our entry up here. We was waiting for this. Looks like this just wanted to play off of a simple like support resistance key level. This was level of support, then became resistance. If you guys can't see it, pretty obvious right here. See? Oil tends to do that. So unfortunately, this was missed. I am going to discard this. The idea was right. It didn't want to go as high. Discarding that for now. Personally, I still want to see oil continue shorting down. I just don't like this price action here. What we're working with is not the best price action. Like these crazy wicks here. I'm not liking how the market is setting up. I'd rather just wait for the move down here, or if we can get, like I said, oil likes this break and retest. So if we notice that this is a key level here, we can always look for break and recess from this level down. So seeing something like this. But where this is right now, just let it show its hand first. As much as I want to continue shorting, I don't like this position here and all this right here. Just too much noise. I'm okay with sitting on my hands and waiting. Something I did want to show you guys is that Bitcoin daily zone we were waiting for did give a nice move from this area here. About 4,000 point move. So this was pretty solid. We were waiting for this for a while. Um, uh, it did hit 80K. I did get a notification. Maybe on like another data feed, it did hit it. Because some people were reporting, but not on this one yet. I can definitely see 80 by tomorrow. Let me got equal highs here. But this zone did give us a pretty decent move here, so we'll discard that for now. We'll move on to currency pairs and see what we're working with here. Hopefully we get some decent setups. The only thing I'm really liking right now is gold. Everything else is kind of choppy. Like we've created more liquidity here. I hope no one did reattempt inside of here when I said there was liquidity resting. This was from previous. This is just gonna break lower at this point. And then, so that's taken out. So I can see us potentially getting something like this. We break lower, we chop around, and then we go potentially see higher because we do want dollar higher. So this is a potential idea that I am liking with peso. If this low sticks, which is promising. If we break this low, onto the left here, and then more than likely we're going to see something like this, where we get the retest down into this imbalance here. So if that does happen, then we'll just look for continued shorts. We'll really have to see what happens with the dollar. News is the excuse, but it is volatile times. So if you are brand new and you're in these volatile times, sometimes the best action is no action. I mean, and you don't have to click the button at the end of the day. It's better off taking quality setups versus quantity and just getting yourself in the market because you feel like you need to be. Like for example, look at USD JPY. It's been trapped in this consolidation zone for days. Why would we even touch this until it shows us like, hey, this is the move, like this is what I'm looking at. So it's okay to be patient on this. No reason to force anything. I do still would like to see the shorts, but at this point, I rather wait for more data to show us if we're gonna get some shorts or not. This one did not pull back, unfortunately, and that's okay. So we are, I'm going to leave the alert there. I'll reevaluate the price action once we get here and see what's going on, if the idea still makes sense. For now, I'm going to leave the alert. I can see it's dropping, but hopefully we do get a pullback to continue short. So the idea stays for now. The USD CAD missed our sell zone, unfortunately, and that is okay. So we'll discard this for now. The first zone for buys is playing out. I'm not liking the volume on this, so if you did miss this, the second zone looks more promising. But if you just want to make sure you got in, yeah, this was your first zone. I just don't like how volume is printing right now. We're not getting like that daily volume close. 4 hour on this one, yeah, but the candle itself is pretty weak, so I think we see a little bit lower before we get some continuation buys. Go inside of here. And like I said before, it really depends on what the dollar is doing, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on DXY in these crazy times. GJ, yo, this played out. If you have been tuning in, we were looking at this zone. This ran. It's still running over 100 pips in profit. So solid move. Yeah, it's a forex pair, so it might move a little bit slower, but idea was valid according to rules. So with this now, I still want to see this go higher. I've stated this before. So at this point, I'm just waiting for like that break and retest on this level. No re-entries yet for me, to be honest. I'm not gonna take this area because I just don't like how we have this resting here. You might want to sweep that down, so I'll be patient on that. Looks like gold is slowly coming down to the zone, so we'll see. If it gets closer and closer to the London session full open, then I'll be patient and see what volume brings in, just in case I get chopped, stuck in the chop basically. Moving on to GU. Yeah, this thing's just been chopping sideways since Thursday. Um, no obvious area. I'm okay with staying out of this. There's markets are not really giving anything super obvious, so I'm okay with being patient on that. GPNZD, the idea that we discussed in terms of price closing below this level did end up happening. Yeah, we had a little Sunday gap, but then we still closed below. So this, I am still in favor of continuing the shorts down. I mean, at this point, it's pretty obvious to see this get taken out. So see that get taken out, and then us continue down to this key level here. GP odd, GP Swiss, sorry, CAD. Let's see what this is at. This looks like it's giving that reaction off this 1 hour zone. Personally, I'm just not liking how this is. building like this has just been sideways. I'm okay with staying out of this. Markets are not really giving us some obvious setups like previous sessions. And that's okay. Yeah, I like this is all just sideways. There's no point in forcing or trying to find a setup that ends up not being a setup. And when I refer to that, so anyone that's watching back the recording, what I mean is sometimes our desire to try to make money, try to find a setup can lead us into mistakes that are avoidable. And what I mean in this case is maybe we'll take a GP and ZD for example. Maybe that's your favorite pair to trade, and you do really well on it, and you're like, I'm gonna find a setup. And you're so confident, but then the longer you stare at it, even though you know it's not obvious initially, the more you're gonna convince yourself that there's a setup, even though there really isn't. So sometimes it's okay just to relax and sit on your hands. Like this, in this case, like we have liquidity set up. This is gonna clear. What's the next obvious setup? We can just wait for price to close below and come and just rebalance, but then at the same time, take out all of this here. So that's the obvious play, at least for me, in my eyes. If you see something different, awesome. As long as you can find a way to make it work for you consistently as duplicatable, then that's all that matters. But back to my original point, don't stare at something for too long when if it's not obvious to you in the first place, then chances are the setup really isn't there. Euro odd is coming closer and closer to our zone. This was off of a 2 hour zone down here. I personally do like this. So we'll see what happens with price, especially with the news events that are happening later this week on Thursday. The zone could just get blown through. So if it just continues to consolidate around this area, I would wait for news to see what happens and then position myself in from there. Dang, gold did not want to come down. Who knows, we might still get the push. This could just be luring in buyers pre-London. So this zone did not play out, and that is completely okay. We'll do a little reset here. Definitely see this going lower now. This like how things have developed. Obviously, this moved a lot more than the other pairs. Let's see if we can get back up here for some shorts. We've created liquidity here, so especially if this liquidity, meaning these equal lows, maintain, and we can get a pullback here to continue shorting down, that would be awesome. And if that doesn't happen, like that diva pullback, we just wait for price to close below, and then boom, take it down to rebalance price action here. We've got more liquidity resting here as well. There we go. We don't get the depot pullback. We take the more obvious play. Moving on. Euro Swiss. Let's see what we're working with here. Definitely, I mean, the downside on everything Euro at this point, but yeah, with this, I don't have a super obvious area for pullback. I don't wouldn't want to attempt inside of this. We've got too many of these wicks that just make the area a little bit less probable for me. So I'm okay with waiting on this play. This was an old idea, which we will take out now. Shorts on this, but just no obvious area. I think Euro CAD, the two scenarios we laid out, are more obvious. Euro GBP. I mean, this is all just screaming to be taken out at this point. Yep, no obvious setup. This is just gearing to go lower. Don't want to get caught in that unless we have an obvious entry. Even this right here, like why are we attempting anything until we get something more obvious? And markets are not giving us the most obvious setups. Sunday was a good start, and then Monday to up until tonight, it's just been some sideways price action. This gave us a little bit of a move. The most they gave was a 1 to 2. So that does work for you. Cool. Actually, it looks like it did barely whip us out. And that's okay. It was only a 30 pip risk. We've caught plenty more pips here for. Now with this, I would like to see if we can continue with shorts side of here. We can get that Evo pullback to come rebalance the price action that's here. That would make sense to me. So we'll see if we can get that Evo pullback. Euro USD. No, nothing on this yet. Yeah, I'm okay with staying out of the markets. We did gap up from today. That would probably get filled. In general, overall, the consensus is shorts for sure. There's just nothing super obvious in terms of like finding an area to get in. And sometimes the sessions are like this, where the market is not set up for the week. We still got plenty of trading time for the week. Yeah, we've got equal lows, odd CAD, definitely shorting down. And to be honest, it might just respect where it's at right now currently and continue shorting down. I'm not sending this as an idea. I'd rather just be patient and wait for a price to show its hand. I would say if we start coming down here with a good amount of momentum and we break and close below this level, you can do something like this. Take out the liquidity that's right here, wait for candle close below, come out, attack this, and get lower as well. So two scenarios. Makes sense. You can all definitely take it down to 0.97200 due to the inefficient price action here. Let me make sure I set some alerts here. Oh, it's Swiss. Inside of a weekly key level, did give that move. Yeah, this is some choppy price action. This is probably gonna get taken out more than likely. We just got trendline liquidity building up. Not my trade. Nothing here for me to take, and I'm okay with that. AUD Oh yeah, this is the one that's at like all-time highs. I'm not shorting this yet at all. There's no reason to. We're at all-time highs, and this is just chopping sideways. More likely it's gonna explode out. So stay out of this. And I think this is a good example of how simple it should be to disqualify setups. Just because we want to make money in the market doesn't mean we're going to make money in the market that day, and that's something you have to accept. I mean, for me personally, like I'm looking at this, I don't have obvious setups, and I'm okay. Like I wouldn't attempt to short here because of the equal highs. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't fit my rules. And where this is at right here, there's indecision, and that's gonna make me want to try to force something that isn't there, and I'm not going to do that basically. 80 USD, still the higher time frame target. Whenever we see these wicks, at least what I've learned from my mentors, these are gonna get just taken out. And plus, what makes it more probable, because trading is a game of probabilities, is if we're coming down aggressively, we take this out, we're more than likely going to rebalance price action here, and even lower. So, do we get that up, down that little bit for the buys? Maybe not. I just would much rather not get caught trying to buy inside of here or inside of here. We're looking for continued shorts on this, but did not give it. I still am in favor of shorts. It's just some choppy price action, so waiting for this to give us a more obvious setup would be ideal. If it doesn't, that's cool too. CAD yen, unfortunately missed our zone. Still waiting on this. This is a good example of how you could have targeted the shorts um, for Sunday's open on this play, at least right here. Not this Sunday, but you had the liquidity resting here. Price took it out and then retraces. Fails to break above. You could have attempted any shorts inside of here and continue further down. But where this is at currently, I'm not going to short this because I can see the other assets with the yen go higher. Um, the assets are against the yen basically, so I'm okay with staying out of this for now. And a lot of setups that are just not super solid for this week, and that's okay. Like, there's no point in us trying to attempt anything inside of this. This is a sideways movement. Save your money, quality over quantity. Yeah, like I'm skipping through here. I don't like the fact that we generate more liquidity. I was gonna suggest potential buys inside of here, but all this is gonna get taken out. And I'm not going to short inside of here due to the fact that we still have this gap that's not filled. So there's too many probabilities with not enough confluence for me personally. I'd rather have like one solid probability with additional confluence versus like two, three probabilities, but they're not enough evidence backing it, or like my own data to convince myself that it is a setup worth taking. So as of right now, gold's really the only thing I'm keeping an eye on this, especially if we don't clear these equal highs here. I'll be more convinced to take this setup here. So we'll see if the open can give us that pullback for gold to continue higher. There is this potential zone. I'm going to be really hesitant on this area, primarily because, yes, I know it's a key level, but I don't like the fact that we have this inefficient price action here. Like, you have this imbalance that's present. You see here, only sellers present, so true imbalance. Would like to see that get filled. That's why attempting from 75 might not be an obvious setup. Maybe a scalp for like 50 pips or so, since it's a key quarter level, but I would need to be fully convinced to actually pull a trigger on that. Um, the DAX, nice, cleared that out. I see the DAX going higher. This was a crazy move down today. Dang, insane. So yeah, I wanted to attempt potential buys with the DAX inside here. I just don't like the fact that we gapped up like this much for its open. Market's in a weird, weird place right now. Oh, natural gas took out that loss. Still want to see this lower, come down to 2.4, 2.3 potentially. But I think it's pretty much it for me, guys. Let's see if we have anything on stock side. Ooh, Warner Bros. Might be setting up to give us a potential short. Like, I would love to see Warner Bros. Can come back down into $16, $14. So like, literally where it's at. I'm gonna check some contracts for this whole zone here. See if it's worth taking down, personally. Let's see what else we got. Snapchat still in these calls. We are up actually. So if you've been plugged into the community and you've been paying attention to when I've been on these sessions, I've spoken about Snapchat. I'm personally in these myself, not financial advice, just learning from educators with decades of experience. And also from a technical point of view, this does make sense to me. We've got earnings coming up in May, a little bit of a ways, but hopefully this is already in a higher place and then the earnings send it more. But if you've been plugging in, we are up on Snapchat. Let's see what else we're working with here. How's Weeble at? Dang, we did talk about this. I was looking for it. I just missed it. It'd be nice if Weeble can get a pullback to see if we can find some positions. Starting a rally. Still like Robinhood down at 50. I still just see this kind of lower. Circle was a huge move. Spoke about this. Well, educators spoke about this when the low would be cleared to go up. American Airlines barely. This is crazy. I barely wick out, and then it's running. I still believe in this where it's at currently. On a larger scale, unless we close below this level here, then we're probably going to come clear out $8. See where. Oh, the split happened. Someone did tell me about this. And from a look at that, from a technical point of view, we were right. We're talking about this zone, and it's playing around in there right now. I'll have to take another look at this. Oh, sorry about that, guys. See what the contracts are looking like. I gotta look into the company because someone did tell me about this. PayPal. This is, I think, another play that our educators are talking about. Yeah, Nike still needs to take out these. Oh, we did take it out. Nice. Still want to see this drop lower. I think that's pretty much it for me, guys. Um, with how things are, markets uncertainty with a lot of like crazy price action, just be patient. There's no reason to force anything. I know I've said that multiple times, but it's just a reminder. And it's also like a reminder for myself too. I'm just as much as a student to the market, no matter how long I've been trading or how long I ever will trade. I think we'll call it a session. If gold does give me the pullback, I will attempt. As of right now, I'm really okay with waiting until what the open does here in the next 22 minutes. Trade responsibly. Remember, none of this is financial advice. If you did get value from this session, feel free to reach out to the Powerhouse community and we'll get you plugged in and let them know where you found value at and on what session with whoever was hosting that session so that we can get you plugged in with the right people. As always, much appreciate you guys tuning in. Take care, and until next time.